The greatest king that Africa has ever seen, Mansa Musa, full name Mansa Musa, came to the throne in Mari in 1312. History began to flow in a different direction for Mari. He was a sultan who came to the throne at the age of 32. He was the 10th emperor of his country. He inherited a powerful and rich country. He had inherited a financial empire with his exports. It met almost half of the world's need for gold and salt, which was almost as valuable as gold at that time. In addition to being a good and brave leader, Mansa Musa also had a sharp commercial intelligence and added wealth to the wealth of his country. This is how he obtained the title of Mansa. The eastern borders are Niger. It enabled the huge financial empire of 400 cities, whose borders extend to the Atlantic Ocean, and especially the capital Timbuktu, to become the most important trade and cultural center of the African continent. The other sources of income of the country, which is rich in gold to the south and salt mines to the north, are ivory and slave trade, making it a better leader. Besides, he was a good commander and a brave warrior. During his reign, in addition to the salt and gold trade, the booty obtained from the conquests were added to the country's income sources. The conquest provided not only booty, but also the expansion of the country's borders. The financial empire now includes Niger, famous for its copper mines in the east, a single Rura in the west, and a forested region in the south. Famous for Volta Colonna, and most importantly the salt mines of the Sahara in the north. He ruled over a wide and rich geography. Mansa Musa played smartly. He focused on areas strong in terms of minerals and raw materials. When King Musa ascended to the throne, he managed to conquer many regions in Africa together with his commander, Saran Mondial. King Moses quickly created a huge male army consisting of 100,000 foot soldiers and 100,000 horse soldiers. The only power that could rival King Moses with the land and military power they had was the Mongols. Considering the geographical and economic superiority, it would probably be a great victory if King Moses fought the Mongols. The huge empire established by King Mansa Musa was admirable. King Moses brought great abundance and wealth to his country by extracting the underground mines of Africa. The people of Mari soon began to call him Moses, the Lord of the Mines. King Moses did not exploit the regions he conquered. On the contrary, he prospered them. King Moses divided the regions into provinces. He was appointing qualified governors to each of them. While doing this, he was paying attention to the values of the local people under his control. If possible, he was choosing his governors from the people of the region. King Moses, who was a great believer in Islam, enabled tens of thousands of people in Africa to convert to Islam on a voluntary basis. Of course, the privileges granted to Arab merchants also had a great impact on this. Arab traders and travelers who came to the financial lands played a major role in the religious change of the region. Seeing that the people had adopted Islam, King Moses ordered the construction of a unique mosque in Timbuktu. The result was truly magnificent. 13. It is an African equivalent in aesthetic terms to the Mosque of Jannah, which was completed in its own history. It can be said that King Moses ensured that the entire aesthetic understanding of Africa was reflected in the Mosque of Jannah. King Moses was not content with this. He founded universities that carry out studies in the fields of astronomy, medicine, and engineering. In a very short time, many famous clergy and scientists from the Islamic world akin finance started to arrive. King Musa provided valuable gifts and a free working environment to these valuable names who came to his country. Another person who would be so gracious to the scholars in the Islamic world would be Istanbul Fatih Sultan Mehmet. King Musa, who understood Islam with great dignity, also established a large financial institution. He had brought peace and abundance to Africa with the empire. Now he wanted to go to Mecca and fulfill the obligation of the cross, which is an important religious duty. However, according to Egyptian historians, there was even a short-term diplomatic tension because King Musa el-Nasser kissed his hands instead of his feet in the presence of el-Nasser. However, King Musa granted el-Nazareth 50,000 dinars at the first meeting. Of course, not only King Musa, but also his wife, the queen, came down to Konati and showed both her beauty and beauty. He managed to blow the minds of all Egypt with his magnificence. The famous Arab historian Magnesi would describe Musa as follows. He was a young man with brown hair, a pleasant face, and an agile body. He would take the person's head off with the gifts he gave to anyone who was with him. There is another interesting point reported by Arab historians. He was so used to selling at multiples that he was relieved after the people of Mari left. The Egyptian economy was soon plunged into a deep crisis again due to price brokers. King Mansa Musa crossed the desert to reach Mecca after taking it from Cairo. During this journey, the treasures that the king carried with him spread all over the world. Of course, this situation, Mansa Musa, who lost many of his soldiers in these ambushes, refused to turn back despite the recommendations of his advisors, and continued to move towards Mecca. When he reached Mecca, Muslims from all over the world came to the gates of Mecca to see King Musa. Approximately King Musa, who stayed in Mecca for 3 months and was busy worshiping, followed the same route again to return to his country. When he came to Cairo, he found himself in the middle of a crisis he never expected. Upon the request of the minister, he collected the gold in Cairo from the merchants to pay for high interest. Thus, the economy of Cairo was both secured for the future, and the imbalance in the market with such a large amount of gold was eliminated. After Musa returned to his country, his journey attracted the attention of the Europeans and their West African. It increased their interest in the riches of, first of all, German, Italian, and Spanish cartographers carried out many years of research on Mansa Musa's finances in order to understand the extent of his wealth. Jewish-born cartographer Crescu formed the cornerstone of the European occupation and colony that would begin in time. When the Europeans realized that they could not cope with the Ottoman Empire, which was getting stronger day by day, it set its route to Africa. Moreover, he would steal not only the works of Africa, but also the people themselves, and sell them as slaves to many parts of the world. Moses died in 1337 at the age of 57 and was succeeded by his son, but he failed to keep the empire together, the financial kingdom of Musa. After his death, it entered a period of disintegration.